Hey everyone, this podcast is part of Story Mode, the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. You can support us and gain access to other great exclusive podcasts like Tom and Jeff Watch Batman by heading over to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
Hypecast mit Tom Reimann und David Bell.
Yeah!
Hype!
We're going!
Hype!
Woo! Woo!
Hype!
Hello everyone.
Hi!
We're another episode of Hypecast!
Hypecast!
The show where we get hyped about stuff and things. I'm your co-host, Tom Ryman.
I'm your other co-host, David Bell.
And guess what? There is no third person. Not this
Nah.
time, baby. It's just me and Dave.
Yeah. And, I wish I could say, oh, our guest fell through. But, honestly, I think we were both pretty low energy this week. And it was like, man, well, you have a guest set up for next week,
Yeah,
so.
it has been a bear of a week.
Yeah.
It has been a Loch Ness monster of a week.
Do you mean, nationally, personally?
All of the above. All of the
Yeah.
above. It was an illusion, and the closer I went, I found out it was just a vindictive hoax.
Yep.
That
Yeah.
was this week.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So we didn't actually try to get a guest until yesterday morning. So yeah, this one's, we can't blame it on a guest. This one's on us.
Yeah, it's on us, but they love us.
Yeah,
they love
you
listening to
guys
us.
know what you signed up for. You know what this is.
Yeah, we're such cheery folk, you know?
Yeah.
They love us.
Our positivity, man, it's beaming. It's coming through
It
in beams.
radiates out.
You can probably as you're listening, you can probably feel warm rays of positivity.
Yeah. Listen, life is, it can be good, and then it can be bad, and then it can be good. But, I mean, I will say, a lot of these trailers that we're going to talk about did get me hyped. They did get me hyped. Or at least they didn't bum me out.
Well,
I mean, as in turn, some of the plots are bummers. Look, we'll get into it.
Yeah, the very first trailer we're going to talk about. All right, let's go.
Ooh, that's a juicy trailer. I can't wait to talk about that one with you.
Spicy meatball.
Yeah. Oh, you already know what it is.
Yeah, you fuckers know what it is. But let's get, speaking of you fuckers, let's thank some of you fuckers.
All right. Hey, big thanks to Children Love the Meat Millie.
Woo!
Always a pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you to Grumblebee. Thank you to Screaming Horse Pyramid. Very vivid image there.
Is it a pyramid of horses, or is it a pyramid full of horses? These are the kinds of things that...
I was thinking like Pyramid Head from Silent Hill.
Oh, sure.
But as a horse.
But a horse. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Still with its ass out and that weird that the apron on or whatever.
Yeah, man.
What's that guy's deal?
I don't know. It's like a butcher's apron.
Yeah. Thank you to Del Griffith, the shower curtain fella. Thank you to Lef. Thank you to Seismic Charge Noise. Thank you to Jake.
Concise. I like it.
Yep. Thank you to Numino Ultra Microscopic Silico Volcanoconiosis Jones. Woo. Yeah. Thank you to the baby from Eraserhead.
Woo.
Thank you to Chiz Lily Tits. Chiz Lily Tits. Thank you to these 7 Bs. These 7 Bs.
Specifically these 7 Bs.
Yeah. Thank you to Breezy. Ruizy.
Woo.
Thank you. Thank you to Davey Francis 4. The Revenge.
All right, I guess I'll take over. Thank you to MVP.
Yeah.
Thank you to
Thank
Chester's
you.
Prophet. Thank you to
Thank
Definitely
you.
Not Guillermo del Toro. Thank you
Thank
to Brian,
you.
who Tom knows.
Yeah,
Thank
he
you to Bob
does.
Grenville.
Thank
you to
you.
Steven.
Thank
Thank you
you.
to Down Home Chicken. Thank you to Han Toomey, the confused cyborg.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
to
you.
Asking 7. Thank you to
Thank you.
Happy Ed 209. He
Thank
looked
you.
pretty happy when he was blowing that dude away.
He did.
Thank you to Tom and Dave are good writers. Follow them at Collider and Some More News.
It's true.
Sure. Thank you to Tiger George Pratt Thompson. Raindrops keep falling on my head.
Thank you.
Thank you to Dan Hackroyd.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you to all.
All right.
All right.
All right.
All
you,
right.
you fuckers.
Okay.
It's time.
Everybody calm down. Everybody calm the fuck down.
It's time for the third Spider-Man 3.
Yep.
Or rather, the second Spider-Man 3. This is the second Spider-Man 3.
Right. It feels like the third Spider-Man 3 because the Amazing
because
Spider-Man
it's the
2.
eighth Spider-Man movie.
Yeah. And the Amazing Spider-Man 2 had some serious Spider-Man 3 vibes.
It sure did. It sure did, Dave.
Okay, so
It was like the overpriced airport version of Spider-Man 3.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
I think the internet has already thoroughly covered this, but it is strange that, well, Doctor Strange would be like, I'm going to help you erase everybody's memory. It's strange that Peter doesn't understand the concept of he could just tell people again that forget. But I want to assume it's not this, like the inciting incident in this trailer. I really hope it's not as dumb as it makes it out to be.
Well, it's a trailer,
Because
so
that's-
who can say?
Exactly. But in the trailer,
Yeah.
he's like, Doctor Strange, can you erase people's memory that I'm Spider-Man? And Doctor Strange, who I thought his arc was learning responsibility with magic, is like, sure, man.
It sure was his arc, Dave. But
Yeah.
who gives a fuck? It's the second Spider-Man 3.
Yeah. What did you think?
I think this looks really bad. Like, I think this looks really, really bad. It's all... A buddy of mine at Collider has written before about how we seem, with this iteration of Spider-Man, we seem wholly unable or just, like, vehemently opposed to letting him actually be the star of his own movies.
Ooh, that's a really good point.
So, like, in Homecoming, he had to share the spotlight with Iron Man, and it's largely an Iron Man story because, like, the Vulture's connection was to Iron Man and the Avengers. And then the second movie is all about, it's like Endgame mopping up, and it's still, like, connected to Tony Stark and the Avengers and everything that's going on with that. And then this movie is like it's not even in the same canon. It's like we're so desperate to not let Spider-Man be the focus of his own Spider-Man movie that we're pulling characters and actors from previous franchises that aren't even in canon with this one. And it's just
Right.
It's just member berries. It's just a trailer of member berries. You know what I mean? It's just like, here's
Yes,
Doc Ock.
I-
You remember Doc Ock? Yeah, I do. That was 17 years ago. What is this?
Yeah, here's what Marvel... I think... All right, this is where they're going to run into some issues, because that's a very good point about the fact that we like this Peter Parker. We do for sure.
We do. Yeah.
But it does... Marvel has to survive on transitioning us to that main cast of Avengers, right?
Yeah, I suppose
Who
so, yeah.
got their own movies. They have to transition them to these, the what were like the side characters. And the best way to do that is through Spider-Man, because he's the closest to, like, the new, not literally, but the new Iron Man, Like, oh, this is the guy and who, like, we care about and we're going to follow into. But they haven't really given us enough time with him. You're right.
They're not doing the work with him that they did with Iron Man.
Yeah, you're also right that they get this bonus thing where they're like, I think I talked about this with Cody one of the last episodes, but like that they have a time machine now, and then they have this multiverse, and it's going to get to a point where it's like it's just sort of the writers making up the rules, you know what I mean? Because it's like fucking everything.
Yeah,
And at any point they can go back in time. They can introduce characters from the Fox franchise.
Yeah.
Patrick Stewart can show up. It's just a fucking mess.
Yeah, we're getting into Rick and Morty territory where the multiverse concept in a show like Rick and Morty is perfect because that's a comedy, and it's a comedy deconstruction of a lot of these ideas, and it's also like a deconstruction of like nihilism and a bunch of other ideas that it really
nothing matters,
so that the concept of the multiverse really serves that show's point of view, and it's a great device for comedy because you can do literally anything you can think of. You can just come up with, hey, it's a multiverse. That is a terrible thing to introduce into a drama, because if now we have time machines like in Endgame, they said that's the last of the Pym particles, but that's just until they say that we discovered more Pym particles,
right?
Or they go to a multiverse where it's a multiverse of Pym particles, like. So we have two devices now in the Marvel movies that can just completely undo anything, and it's
nothing matters.
Nothing matters, and this is a trailer that is such. Again, it's a trailer, but like we've known that this is what they're doing for a long time, bringing in all these old actors and characters from the previous franchises, which like. Seems like it could be cool and fun, but like it's just this is such a filmmaking by committee, and like such a nobody has any vision, so where it's just it's too much of like this is what happens when you focus group a movie into oblivion. So they're trying to give the fans what they think they want, and it's like this. It's just, hey, you remember Doc Ock? Hey, you remember Green Goblin? It's like, yeah, I remember these. You made this movie. So what's this movie? Like, I don't...
Listen, here's the thing. All that said, that is the logical part of my brain saying that. I got delighted when I saw that rubber-faced fucking Alfred Molina show up.
Oh, his horrible de-aged face.
Yeah, I was like, ooh, when I heard that stupid goblin laugh and the promise of a Willem Dafoe.
Right, because it's
like, fuck yeah.
I'm remembering how excited I was to see them in the movie 20 years ago. But that's not the same thing as making a good movie. That's just...
No, not at all.
It's the member berries from South Park. That's all it is. It's Star Wars all over again. It's like, what are we doing?
Right.
What are we doing?
I think part of this, and the fact that the multiverse given us, the Doctor Strange one is given to Sam Raimi, I'm like, well, anything to make it like those, I guess I'm good with.
Sure.
Like, because those are delightful. Although I will say, this is, I don't want to like everybody knows what Spider-Man 3 is.
Yeah.
But thinking back at the Spider-Mans at the time in theaters, I think it's easy to forget that, like, we have a heavy nostalgia for them. I certainly do. I think the second one is fantastic, but it is still like a comic book movie.
Yeah.
And it still is like, it's still like narratively, it's just like, yeah, it's still over the top and silly.
Yeah.
So I think, I don't know. It doesn't feel like we're lowering a bar or anything.
No.
But like the nostalgia for those silly movies as something like amazing or something that needs to be respected. I think, I don't know. I think we're getting to that part where people who grew up on those movies have gotten to a certain age, and we're going to see like people go a little too far, I think.
Yeah.
In their nostalgia for those Spider-Mans.
People going too far with nostalgia, they would never. Yeah, I think
I've already seen people be like, this fight between Doc Ock and whatever was the most amazing fight ever on film, and I'm like, it's really good, but like, settle down.
Yeah, calm down. It was fine. Like, I mean,
and I'm yeah.
Yeah, it's there could. I want to give, you want to give everything the benefit of the doubt. So, I mean, there is a chance, like, this is such a bizarre idea that there is a chance this movie could be really unique and special. It all depends on how you handle this kind of idea.
Yeah. I don't think they're not going to have anything to say from it.
No.
Besides,
hell no.
Look, we got Tobey Maguire back and maybe Andrew Garfield if he's good about it.
I think they probably got all of them.
Yeah, I think Andrew Garfield, is going to be the one that surprisingly everybody goes, woo, when they see, because nobody expects his ass to show up. But I do think, like, they probably got him, right?
Probably. It's not, there's kind of no point unless they get both him and Toby. It's kind of no, there's
yeah.
The idea is almost dead in the water, but
it sure seems like Sandman shows up in this trailer. I've seen people breaking it down where you can see like hints of Electro.
Well, we know Electro's in it.
Professor Lizard Man. I've seen some things about that guy.
Yeah, Reese Ifans, the lizard. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
probably. But that's kind of funny to me that people are like, "Break." You can kind of see Electro in here. It's like, yeah, we know he's in it. We know
he's that
in
Jamie Foxx is cast.
We
in
know
it. Yeah.
he's in it. Like, what are you doing?
Right, I've seen people who are like, okay, so there's like we figured out 5 of the Sinister Six. Who's going to be 6th? And people are just like, yeah, Vulture, right? It's like, yeah,
probably. Like, he's in Morbius.
Yeah, like they're clearly pushing that character.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Morbius, is that really still happening?
That's really still happening. I've also heard that Tom Hardy has a cameo in Morbius. So they're really pushing for Sinister Six. They have been since the Andrew Garfield movies. Like they tried to really rush into Sinister Six in that second one, but yeah.
Oh, God, Amazing Spider-Man, that series.
Whew. What a time capsule.
Yeah, it feels like there's an alternate universe, right? Where Sam Raimi made 3 Spider-Man movies and the last one didn't get fucked up, you know? Where he was like allowed to do the thing. And these movies we would feel no need to be like, let's make more. Like, and I do really like there's something to like about all the versions. But it does feel like I don't know. It feels like they already kind of did it right.
Right.
You know what I mean?
If this movie, this trailer, the idea of this movie, if it says anything, it's that we have the one idea for Spider-Man.
Right. And that's the thing is like,
he's a plucky high school kid and it's all the same villains. Let's do it again.
I think that's the thing is it's like, okay, you did perfect Green Goblin stuff, you did perfect Doc Ock. So yeah, for this one they're like, what do? Recast it? No, let's just bring them back. Because they're right in that, yeah, you kind of can't top. Like Spider-Man 2, I think is probably the best Spider-Man thing we have, right?
Probably.
And it sort of just nailed it. Those first 2 Spider-Men. So everything else just feel like supplemental. I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do. Have you watched What If? I haven't watched any What If.
Nah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think this is. I don't know.
It's too much.
Shang-Chi looks more interesting. That seems like something where they could actually be like that. Well, that seems like it's actually.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say that seems like it could be an interesting way to continue the cinematic universe by being like, okay, now everybody look over here. Here's a completely new thing happening. You know what I mean? That feels like a completely new thing.
Yeah.
I know it's not.
Well, I'm kind of getting the Guardians vibe from it, not necessarily in tone, but just because it's like, okay, here's a completely new group of characters in a completely different part of the world that we haven't spent any time with in the Marvel universe. And, in Guardians it's space, but and then Shang-Chi and then also at least it's a new character, it's a new like mythology to get into. Like Shang-Chi is definitely the more appealing offer of these two.
This one feels like the culmination of all the messes they've made in this little group. Yeah, where it's like, yeah, this shit is falling apart. The fucking once Alfred Molina Doc Ock shows up in this, it's like, yeah, the world is fucking like
it crawls out of a crater.
It's crumbling. Yeah.
Oh man.
Like I don't know. I don't know. The only way they can fix this really is by resetting the canon somehow.
The only way they can fix this is by throwing Topher Grace in there. Fuck it.
Topher Grace?
Put him in there.
Oh, yeah.
Give me that Topher Grace
Holy
Venom.
shit. I want him and Tom Hardy side by side.
Oh, what an impossible film that would be.
Yeah. You know what I want to see represented? That astronaut that Mary Jane left at the altar.
Yep, John
I want that.
Jameson.
Yeah, I want that fucking astronaut in this.
Get Man
Let me
Wolf
get that
in there.
landlord. You know what I want? I want Peter's landlord.
Mr. Ditkovich.
Yeah, that's. Can you imagine this trailer if that's who popped out and was like Rent?
That
That would be the.
Well, there would be an additional because that actor has passed. So
Oh my god!
there would be like an additional wrinkle to that. Like
It's fucking like Peter Cushing him.
What sort of dark magic have you meddled with, Doctor Strange?
Oh my god! God, see, that's the move. That's what they should have done. God damn it!
I mean, there's always a chance that this movie is buck fucking wild. So
yeah, that's all right. I think that's Marvel's only hope.
Yes,
is to be like nothing matters. We're gonna become like meta on top of meta on top of meta. Or they do. I said this the last episode. The weirdest thing I never thought I'd say is it feels like DC is doing the better thing now by just being like, here's a bunch of unconnected stories.
Yeah.
Like, here's the Harley Quinn show. Here's the new Suicide Squad. Here's the Robert Pattinson Batman. Are they part of one big cinematic universe? Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Like, let's not do that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I would have liked it better if Marvel was like, we're making a new X-Men series. And people were like, how does it connect? And they could just be like, it doesn't. It's its own fucking thing.
That would be kind of better.
That would be kind of better. Where they're like, this one's not made by a sex criminal. That's our pitch. Man, it's X-Men, not
no sex
not made by
criminal.
a monster. Yeah.
Boy, most of those X-Men movies suck.
Yes, but I love them.
They suck so bad.
They're such a beautiful disaster.
They're so shitty.
Oh, I want to watch X-Men Apocalypse now.
Yeah, you do. That piece of shit. All right.
That total piece of shit.
We should move
Let's
on.
talk about Nightbooks.
Let's talk about Tales from the Dark Side. If the fucking framing device was a whole movie.
Speaking of Marvel, is that Jessica Jones?
I think so.
All right. This I want to know this witch's deal. Because she's just like, she like kidnaps children, then she makes them write scary stories for her.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a kid's show,
Yeah,
right?
Sure. I mean, it's a movie, I think, but yeah.
Kids movie, yeah.
Yeah, it's fascinating to me that's clearly the framing device for an anthology story. In like I said, in point of fact, it's the framing device for the Tales from the Dark Side movie, where Debbie Harry is the witch and has locked a kid in her kitchen.
Perfect.
And she's going to eat him, but he's delaying her by telling her a bunch of scary stories. And that's
Right,
what
but
this
that's
is.
not what
I mean, it's a witch
is-
who traps kids in her house, and it's like, you got to write me
Oh.
scary stories or I kill you.
But are we actually going to see the stories? It feels like the kids are like, fuck this.
No,
and they
yeah,
try
that's
to
what I'm
escape.
saying. This is the premise of an anthology movie that they've
Right.
just decided to remove the anthology aspect
Right.
of it. So it just becomes they're writing stories. Fucking why?
What I want to happen is the first time he sits down to write a story, he just hits the witch with a book and runs. And the rest of the movie is just like, it's just fucking Don't Breathe with a witch.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, you're right. It sets up this, like, delightful anthology, and it seems like that falls apart. I don't know. It does look fun, or it looks well made.
It looks interesting.
For, like, a spooky kids thing.
Yeah, it looks interesting.
Yeah.
It's a strange. I want that premise to be like, that's my immediate reaction to that premise is like, oh, so this is about the stories they're telling. It's like, oh no.
No, not at all.
Oh, okay.
It is a very bizarre.
It's like the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark movie where they bafflingly didn't make that an anthology film.
Right.
You know, it's like, what
God damn
what are
it!
we
I
doing
forgot
here?
about that movie.
Oh, yeah.
What were they doing?
I don't know, being dumb.
I don't know. This is from the director of Brightburn, which is a well-directed. He's got connections to James Gunn.
Yeah. That's a well-directed film. I know we didn't agree on the content, but
Yeah, I thought that could have used some work, but it's still like, I don't know, still well-directed.
Yeah.
That's for sure. So I don't know. This seems neat. like this ain't hurting anybody.
Yeah, it looks
The old Nightbooks.
It looks fun. It's
Sam Raimi's producing. I mean,
it's cool visuals in
that's
it.
something.
It looks like it's going to scare kids a little bit, and I'm always on board for that.
Oh yeah, yeah. They're doing that thing where they're like, you know what, fuck kids,
Yeah,
and it's like, yeah, thank you.
You know what? Let's fuck them up a little bit.
Yeah, I like a weird fucking morphing hairless cat in this. It looks fun.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. Nightbooks. You guys should check out the trailer, I guess.
Working on
If
the
you wanna
Nightbooks.
If you want to scare some kids.
What if it was Bob Seger?
Oh.
What if it was
Like as the witch?
Yeah, they're trapped in Bob Seger's house, and he's
That would be
making
great.
them write him scary stories.
It is Jessica Jones, by the way. And I like her. I like Kristen Ritter. But now that you mention it, like, I would also appreciate if it's just Willem Dafoe or something like that. Just like an actor that you're like generally like, I don't know if I want him near kids. You know?
Maybe not.
Like I'm not saying that he's like I'm not accusing him of anything. It just seems like I wouldn't.
Yeah,
you know.
like I watched the Harkey speech in the Lighthouse, and I'm like, maybe not have the kids.
Right. Like Willem Dafoe, he seems like the kind of guy who would like show kid like a gnarly scar he has and like traumatize the kid. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or like tell him a story about some time he saw someone die on the train tracks. Like it's that kind of not around kids. Where it's like I feel like you're gonna hurt their soul a little bit.
Yeah.
Willem.
You're gonna make him grow up too fast.
Yeah,
Some
exactly.
shit that comes out of your mouth.
Yeah, and it'll be something where he's like, they got to get used to the real world. And it's like, don't show him pictures of someone who was killed, though, Willem. Why do you even have that in your wallet? You know, it's that sort of stuff.
Just his wallet photos of drowning victims.
Yeah, exactly. Like, here's my favorite one. Fucking Willem Dafoe.
All right, let's move on.
All right. Maya and the Three. This is a series, isn't it?
I don't know. I thought it was a movie. It's an animated thing for Netflix about a Mayan princess, I believe.
It's a mini series.
Mini-series, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a girl who wants to be a warrior, I believe. And then she has to fight a bunch of gods, I think. I know the fucking cast is ridiculous.
Yeah, this cast is out of control. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Zoe
It's got-
Saldana,
it's-
Stephanie Beatriz, Diego Luna, Gail Garcia Bernal, Alfred Molina, Danny Trejo, Cheech Marin, Rosie Perez, Jesus Christ, Queen Latifah. Man.
I don't know. This looks delightful.
Yeah, she's so. I probably got the culture wrong, and I apologize, but it's some kind of Mesoamerican princess of some kind.
Right.
Yeah, and it's it looks it's like
My biggest
it
hit
looks like
against
the
it.
Disney. It looks like the Disney version of Apocalypto. Is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, what if it was? Oh no! I never saw Apocalypto because that was at a point where I was like, "I'm sorry, Mel Gibson's doing what?" Nah, I'm good. I'm all set.
It's pretty
with
good.
Mel's.
It's pretty good.
Well, he's a good director,
Yeah.
but he's just
He's also a monster.
Yeah, he's a real monster. I didn't want to know what he had to say about this.
Not much. It's just it's just a really tight action movie. It's not really much
That's
to
interesting.
say.
Sure, I just figured if anybody could, it'd be Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
But the only thing that bothers me about this is this is a blanket statement about most animations. Is it all looks like it's
It all looks the
fucking-
same.
Yeah, it looks like it's semi Pixar.
Yeah.
Like even Pixar is bleeding with this stuff where it's just like when I saw this I was like I don't know who this is initially.
It's
Because it's like it could be fucking anybody.
that's the big drawback for 3D animation. I think is that it's all, it all looks the same now.
Yeah, and like imagine if this was done in a different style.
Yeah.
It would be really cool.
Yeah.
But I mean, it is what it is. It doesn't fully take away. Like for me, this issue is kind of on the par with the like how when posters all look the same or movies are all color corrected the same, where it's like it doesn't like the quality of the movie that says nothing about it. Like the Mad Max poster looks like every other poster, I believe. It has that color scheme. That doesn't mean Mad Max Fury Road was bad. It was, in fact, very good. It's just frustrating. It's that weird little, like, pet peeve.
I think it's more frustrating with animation because animation, that's, like, the point of it, right, is the fact that you can do all these different unique styles and, you know, there's
it should be the point of it.
Like a photoreal, like you're making a movie, there's only so many different ways you can light a human being. It's still going to look like a human being. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But with like animation, there's a lot of different ways you can draw a person, and we've all decided on this look for 3D animation.
And yeah, that's the thing. Also, computer animation.
That's what I mean. Yeah, computer animation.
They could all look like fucking Alfred Molina. They could just be the Spider-Man Alfred Molina.
2004's Alfred Molina.
Yeah. There's so many options.
Yeah, so many options. But yeah, Maya and the 3 coming to Netflix.
Still looks good.
Yeah.
Or at least the story looks good.
Yeah, you don't. It's not a culture that gets represented a lot in animation, at least not in mainstream animation. So that's interesting.
By the way, that's going back to Marvel. That's the thing that does bum me out the most is now that Marvel's like, maybe we shouldn't just have a bunch of white people. It's when it feels like it's all kind of fading.
Yeah, it's after they shoved honkies down our throats for 10 years.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's like, what a bummer.
Yeah. Now we'll do Shang-Chi. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now that you've choked us to death on Marvel content for the past 10 years. I love that Abomination is in it. You kids remember Abomination?
Wait, what's Abomination?
Abomination's in Shang-Chi.
Which one's Abomination?
Abomination is Tim Roth from The Incredible Hulk.
What the fuck? What is he doing?
I don't know. He's fighting him in that cage fight in the trailer, though. You can see him.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, and he's coming back for the She-Hulk TV show, I believe. So.
Oh, yeah. Bring back Edward Norton.
Bring back Edward Norton. No, they're
not
going to do that.
Bring back Omar from The Wire, who is in The Incredible Hulk.
Might as well just be playing Omar, because he's just a guy that walks outside and is like, hey, it's the Hulk.
From what I recall of the making of it, that was Edward Norton just like, I like The Wire. And they were like, sure, man. Yeah, why not? But, oh, man, that movie. I haven't watched that thing in a really long time.
It's a journey.
It is. Also a journey. The Starling.
Yes, this is our next trailer, The Starling. It's a dramedy coming to Netflix. It's got Melissa McCarthy and Chris O'Dowd. They appear to be a couple who has lost a baby.
Yep.
And they're both dealing with it in not great ways. He's in an institution, has been hospitalized, and she is not
talking to Kevin
Kline, who is a former therapist who's now a veterinarian. And it's about Kevin Kline trying to get them through this grieving process and get them basically back on the same wavelength, I think.
Yeah.
It looks good. It looks like it's going to be sad as fuck.
It does. I really enjoy Melissa McCarthy doing stuff like this. And I do, this just looks really fucking solid. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be like a heavy bummer.
It's a bittersweet. There's a lot of jokes in the trailer, but it's a very heavy subject.
Oh, yeah.
So
it's going to be, it feels like a less bad version of a movie like, what is that called? Rain on Me? Is that the one with Don Cheadle and Adam Sandler?
Yeah.
Yeah, where it's like a tragic idea that's happened off screen at the beginning of the movie that these characters are dealing with. And like, I don't know. That can make for a really good premise. I know the script has been around for a while, so I think it's a very solid movie.
I mean, it's got Kevin Kline. He hasn't been.
Kevin Kline.
He hasn't
in Animals.
been in a movie in a long time, I don't think.
It does. It really feels that way. It's Kevin Kline now looking like Kevin Kline playing his dad in Fierce Creatures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His dad, Rupert Murdoch, in Fierce Creatures.
Oh, yeah. God, I want to watch Fierce Creatures now.
It's a film. It is a motion picture.
Film.
Yeah.
It's a delightful film.
It's okay.
It's a delightful film.
You watch it if you watch it back to back with A Fish Called Wanda.
It's no A Fish Called Wanda.
You get to Fierce Creatures, you're like, oh, we lost something.
I do love Michael Palin in it.
In both films,
yeah.
He's incredible. Yeah.
By the way, what Kevin Kline's been up to, I know this because I've been watching Bob's Burgers. He's a regular on that.
Oh, dope.
Yeah. So he's been making a buck or two.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, don't you remember Beauty and the Beast, where he played Maurice?
That's right. I forgot about that. Okay.
Crazy old Maurice.
Old Maurice.
Yeah, I mean, it's always nice to see Kevin Kline, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's never been...
When are we going to see Phoebe Cates again? That's the real question.
Oh...
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
She left acting to raise their children, and hasn't been back.
Really?
Yeah. I think her last movie was Princess Caribou, which was like 94.
I'm gonna look it up. She's been in the Lego Dimensions video game.
Yeah.
2001, the anniversary party was the last thing, and then Princess Caribou. So basically, 1994, and then she was like, "I'm gonna take a very long break." She showed up in something called the Anniversary Party, and then she said, "I'm going to take a really long break," and then she showed up in a video game.
Sure.
Yeah, let's bring her back.
Yeah. I mean, unless she doesn't want to come back.
Yeah. I mean, she was in Drop Dead Fred.
She was, yep.
That takes something out of you, you know?
Yeah, because it's such an incredible gift to the world. So yeah, a lot of yourself has to go into it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She was like, I have no more acting to
I
give.
am drained. Yeah, this was my Citizen Kane.
You want to talk about Spencer?
Sure.
Who is Spencer?
Diana Spencer.
Oh, got it. Thanks, everybody. Just call it Diana then. Come on.
Well, because I think there's probably another movie called Diana. We're really all horned up for Princess Di right now.
Yeah.
For some reason, like The Crown, people lost their fucking minds over The Crown with Princess Diana came into it.
I think what it is, and I think this is what's happening with the Monica Lewinsky stuff, is like, it's the equivalent of like, you ever have someone insult you and you don't realize it's an insult? And then later you're like, wait a fucking second.
Yeah.
I feel like we're doing that with cultural moments from the 90s where we're like, wait, the fuck were we doing?
Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
What is our problem?
I think we're circling back to be like, you know what? That was really fucked up what we did.
I think, didn't they got divorced in the 80s, though. I mean, your point still stands.
Yeah. This is from the writer of Serenity, so maybe it's just all a video game?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no, wait. They got divorced they separated in 92, divorced in 96. All right. Man, if this is like the video game of the Princess of Wales, then fuck yes.
Yes, please. It's the director of Jackie.
Oh, yeah, the Natalie Portman one that nobody saw.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Fucking Kristen Stewart, man.
Odd
She's
choice,
killing
but I mean, she looks convincing. I remember when she got cast in this, I was like, that's a weird pick.
Right, but again, they don't have to look exactly like
They don't have to look
know?
exactly like it, and you also, at least I do, you forget how young Princess Diana was. Like, she was like 37 when she died.
Yeah. That's just wild.
Yeah.
I suspect this is the biggest bummer on this list in terms of, like, to watch. It's going to be a real bummer to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Looks really good. But it's, you know.
Yeah, it's going to really suck.
Yeah. That said, I don't know. It looks really good.
Yeah?
I hope, I don't know, maybe she'll get an award or something for it.
Oh, maybe. Maybe.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's at least a good movie.
Yes. Yeah, and like, there's no indication from this trailer that it isn't. Although the trailer isn't showing you much.
No, it's like a minute long. I think there's like one line of dialogue. It's mostly just images of It does a good job of conveying kind of what it must have felt like to be Diana. So in that way, it's a pretty good trailer.
Yeah, it feels like it takes place in a single day.
It might.
Yeah. At least that's just the impression I get from the trailer, because it's all kind of one location. And I don't know, that would be an interesting choice. I'm sure it's gonna. Yeah,
it might be
reading that it's about her spending a holidays with the royal family.
I was going to say it might be about when they announced their separation, because that was a big fucking deal.
Yeah. Oh, it looks like okay. So it's about her Christmas holiday with the royal family and deciding to leave Charles. So yeah, I think it's the idea of a very pivotal moment in her life.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It's a good choice.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's certainly more interesting than trying to do like a biopic of her entire life.
Right.
I like it.
This is the sort of thing
I
where...
prefer it when biopics do this, where they pick like a pivotal moment or something, as opposed to trying to paint a picture of the person's entire life, because usually that doesn't lend itself to a film.
Right, because most people's lives are boring even if they're famous.
Right, yeah.
So it's like, choose a moment that's exciting, that sums them up as a person.
Yeah.
You're definitely going to have to make some shit up, but you're making a movie.
Yeah,
so,
it's a movie, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a movie, folks.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks good.
Yeah.
We have a final trailer. This is like a trailer for a bunch of other trailers. This is the next lineup for Welcome to the Blumhouse.
Sure.
If you remember, they did this, last year?
Last year, yeah.
Yeah, where it's like, here's a bunch of movies we don't want to advertise on their own.
This looks like a little like last year's selection was pretty scattershot. It was like 4 wholly unrelated films that they just put out. It looks like this is at least a little more thematically unified, because they're going with, it's 4 films again, but they're presenting them as 2 double features. And they seem to be at least a little more like, it's getting more of a Grindhouse feel.
I think
specifically the film Grindhouse that Tarantino and Rodriguez did.
Right. Yes, it even has the aesthetic.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's my guess. My guess is that the first Welcome to the Blumhouse was in fact thrown together.
Yeah.
Like, that's my guess, is they were like, what if we put them all together and call it this? You know what I mean?
It was a bunch of movies they bought, a bunch of festival movies they bought on the cheap, and it was like, well, here's a way we can package this that people will watch it, because Blumhouse itself is a brand right now. Right.
Yeah, so I'm guessing they had a whole year to be like, so what films actually do we want to do this for?
Yeah.
And they got to think about it. Yeah. I don't remember any of the last ones. I sort of remember Black Box, but
I remember The Lie. The Lie is, what a film.
I don't remember. Yeah, I think last time it was. It's not. It was also that they varied in quality.
Yes.
And they're like, lump them all together. This one, yeah, maybe they actually have a more cohesive plan for it. It certainly looks like it.
It feels more cohesive this time around, yeah. And I mean, I'm always open to horror movies. Blumhouse
evil
hits more than it misses.
Yeah. I mean, it's horror, man.
Yeah,
it's
horror.
I love it all.
And I like that Blumhouse specifically goes after new filmmakers, you know?
Yeah.
Or like underserved voices or points of view and things like that. So I enjoy, like, I have a lot of respect for Blumhouse as a production company, so.
No, I agree. It's sort of like, it's like, look, I'm not going to always like every movie, but I like the overall system that they have.
It's the Wayne's World thing. It's like Led Zeppelin didn't write music that everybody liked.
Yeah.
They left that to the Bee Gees.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so you're not going to like everything, but you check all this out. And then sometimes they put out Truth or Dare.
Sometimes they do that. That's one where I'm like, man.
That's like the most head-scratching one, I think. I think that's the only one I've seen that was like genuine dog shit.
I'm still so for people who don't know, me and Tom sat down and we were like, let's watch Truth or Dare.
We sure did.
And then we bought the wrong
We watched
Truth or
the
Dare.
wrong Truth or Dare, and it was better than the Blumhouse version.
Yes.
That hit
to be
theaters.
clear, we bought the like super indie.
Yeah.
Like me and my friends made a movie, Truth or Dare. It was still a movie. They did a decent enough job. But it was very rough around the edges, and it was so much better than the we're going to slap a weird smile, CGI and smile on people, Blumhouse Truth or Dare. That was a piece of shit.
That's real bad, yeah. Watch the older indie Truth or Dare. It's not perfect, but it's like surprisingly not bad.
Or do what we do, watch them both.
Watch them both. And
watch them both in one night.
And be 3 hours closer to the grave with nothing to show for it.
Yeah, there's also one from the 80s. I can't speak on that one.
No, definitely haven't seen that one.
Yeah. But maybe that one's also good. I don't know, man.
Maybe.
Yeah. Who can say? By the way, that's the director of Fantasy Island who made that Truth or Dare.
I'm not surprised. They both had Lucy Hale in it.
That checks out.
And they're both dog shit.
And they're both not
That's right.
great.
I forgot Fantasy Island was a Blumhouse movie too. Yeah, that movie was real bad.
Again, some misses, some hits.
Some misses,
it's a studio.
Some misses, some hits. Yeah, it's a studio.
Yeah.
They're not going to like everything they do.
Yeah. Sometimes they're going to remake Fantasy Island as a horror, and then everybody will forget about it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
All right. You want to move on to news stories?
I would love to.
Let's thank some producers first. Big thank you to the Kool-Aid Molotov says, pulmonary embolism is an exceedingly rare side effect of the Moderna, so get the Pfizer and purge the weakness from the proletariat. Kool-Aid Molotov, get better.
Yeah.
I hope you're feeling better.
I hope you're feeling all right, man.
Yeah. All our love to you. Big thanks to E.T. the Extravagant Terresticle. Thank you to Cody Johnston's Time Machine noise. Thank you.
Yep.
Thoughts and prayers for that as well. Thank you to Pete for Pagel.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much. Thank you to Glitterous, CFO of Michael Shannon's Chocolate Factory. Somebody make that movie.
Tell him to get back into the chocolate river room.
That's another man
wearing
that
his
you can
hat,
have this
wearing
chasing
that
children.
Purple hat.
Yeah.
And I told you
barely wearing it.
Told you not to lick the walls.
I feel like he should have like his street clothes under the suit.
Yeah.
And it's like visible. Thank you to subscribe to Jason Pargin's Substack.
Oh yeah.
Everybody do that.
Everybody do that.
Thank you. Yeah, do it. Thank you to the Midnight Patron. What patrons at midnight?
Woo!
Thank you very much.
All right, let me jump in here. Thank you to Exploding Runes.
Thank
you
you
to Andrew. Andrew How.
Thank
you to Vincent. Thank you
Vincent.
to RevMD. Thank you to Dr. DNA. Thank you to Lauren Gucci. Thank you to Bootler Bootlesson.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Stories.
All right, you fuckers. So
best news.
Yeah, so Robert Eggers, filmmaker behind The Witch and The Lighthouse, is remaking Nosferatu. Good news. With Anya Taylor-Joy. Also good news. Also surprising news.
I hope she plays
Nosferatu.
Like the Nosferatu. Yeah.
I hope so.
And like full makeup. Did you watch Shadow of the Vampire?
Yes.
Okay. That's all. That's all.
Yeah,
I just want to remind people that movie exists.
Shadow of the Vampire. It's a fictional take on the making of Nosferatu. It's like, what if it was a real vampire, and it's starring Willem Dafoe and John Malkovich. It's an interesting idea. I didn't love the movie.
That director, he did Begotten, and he did one other movie. He's not someone that you give like a money to. Suspect Zero, that's his other film. And like, God bless them for being like, here's Willem Dafoe. Here's like two of the most Willem Dafoe and fucking John Malkovich. Yeah. Here are two actors that'll just go with whatever crazy horse shit you throw at them.
They will do whatever you say.
Yeah. But yeah, point is that Robert Eggers, he's making that Viking movie first, I believe.
Nosferatu. It's either called The Northman or The Norseman. That actually comes out soon, I think.
Yeah.
Next year, maybe.
I hope that this is the closest this director gets to making a Hollywood movie, right? Nosferatu is perfect for him. It's perfect.
Yeah, because it's like a
down.
fucking 100-year-old movie.
Yeah.
It's not like, they didn't give him Bride of Frankenstein or something. It's this
Exactly.
It's this weird plague film. Like, if you watch The Lighthouse, you're like, of course you give this guy Nosferatu.
Yeah.
The surprise, I'm surprised Anya Taylor-Joy is working with him again, because I've heard The Witch was not a fun movie to make.
Well, yeah, I heard that too, but maybe he wasn't a bad guy,
Maybe, yeah.
I heard stuff like the goat, who played Black Phillip,
yeah.
turned out to be really difficult, and it's like, well,
real shitty goat.
Yeah, he kept attacking like the guy who played the dad.
Listen,
and it's like maybe the
he's
goat's just in character.
Yes, exactly. He's the Jared Leto of shitty goats.
So I imagine that's one of those things where it's like, look, we're making an indie film. We're out in the fucking woods. You have to do scenes where you're like walking naked in the woods.
Yeah.
Like it's got to be like, I mean, just from her working with him again, I assume. I hope he doesn't have her family hostage.
It was I for some reason I was envisioning it like a Jim Cameron Sigourney Weaver situation where it's like, well, they're fucking working with him again.
Right, exactly.
But then of course she did, years and years later.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I'm curious about that now. But having just rewatched The Witch and The Lighthouse, I'm super excited for whatever fucking insanity this is going to be.
I love this filmmaker.
I know, me too. This might be his most normal film.
It might
Nosferatu.
be, but I hope it's not.
Yeah, me too.
Because Nosferatu is not a normal film.
No, I feel like this guy's got a blank check, right? It's the thing, like he's been doing. It's just A24.
I think.
right?
I think he has a blank check for about $6 million.
Yes,
They'll give him exactly $6 million to do whatever the fuck crawls into his head.
Right, but I think he's got the thing where like actors probably want to work with him. Is this A24 or is this a new studio? Because that
must be right.
Yeah, that might. Wait, it must be A24.
Yeah, because
do they have the rights? Oh, Nosferatu. There's no rights.
There's no rights
right?
to Nosferatu.
Yeah. All right.
I'm pretty sure. I unless you're Steamboat Willie, the fucking
right, exactly.
that has lapsed by now.
That's God. Yeah. So God, I hope it's just A24.
It's not really.
He came to them.
It's not really based on anything. It was just,
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope he did that.
I don't know.
It's
exciting.
If you've not, a lot of people, I think a lot of people haven't watched Nosferatu, which is completely understandable. It's a silent film. It's not, the most exciting, but like, you should watch it. It's really, you might be surprised at how fucking weird it is. It's so.
Oh yeah.
It's like legitimately unsettling.
Yeah. And it's weird because if anybody else was remaking Nosferatu, I'd be like, why?
Yeah.
Like, don't do that. But it's sort of the Denis Villeneuve and like the things he chooses to sequel and remake. Again, if anybody else was doing it, I'd be like, fucking why? But it's him. So it's like, oh yeah, absolutely. You know what it reminds me of? Honestly, when I first heard that like Sam Raimi was doing Spider-Man or Peter Jackson was doing Lord of the Rings, it reminds me of when an indie director doing a bigger thing was like, oh fuck yeah, they're gonna fuck that up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like in a good way. It's gonna be like a Sam Raimi film, but it's Spider-Man. And so like I'm glad there's still elements of that. It feels like it has to be properties that no one cares about, It has to be fucking, hey, I'm going to make Dune. And they're like, sure, no one else is making it.
It's Denis Villeneuve, I think.
I looked it up once.
Uh-huh.
There's like 3 different. It's wild, man. I think it's because there's like French Canadian, and then there's like France, and there's like a bunch of different people seem to be
and
like.
He specifically is French Canadian, so.
Okay, that's good to know.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know. Fucking. Robert Eggers. I don't know. Give him another property that people don't give a shit about.
I cannot wait to see him do Nosferatu. Like, I'm excited as shit for his Viking movie. That's going to be out of its mind. But fucking Nosferatu, good God, just bring it, transplanting the Lighthouse's energy onto Nosferatu.
Oh God, yeah.
My God.
The only way a studio can fuck this up is by trying to involve themselves.
I think they know better because otherwise they would have given
Yeah.
him Dracula.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not doing
That's
Dracula.
true.
He's doing Nosferatu.
Honestly, I would. I feel like Universal learned their lesson with the Dark Universe.
Yeah,
I think if he did a Universal monster, they would also be like, "Sure, man." Like,
let him do some weird
please.
shit. Let him do some Bram
Yeah.
Stoker's Dracula shit where he makes it with old technology, like the Lighthouse.
You know what I want to see him do? I want to see him do a Batman. Fuck it.
Yeah, I don't give a shit.
Yeah,
Batman.
I think DC is in the same place. I think where if he was like, I want to do a Batman, they'd be like, yeah, man, just here's
Anything.
this much money.
Anything.
Yeah, call us when you made it.
Yeah. Anything that's unique and distinct.
Because I think that is what A24 is now. Like all their trailers, it feels like check out this lamb child.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to see that? And it's like, fuck yeah, I do.
mean, they're building a mountain out of real high concept films.
Yeah.
So respect the shit out of them. They're bringing high concept movies to a mainstream distribution.
Yeah,
So
that's why
bless
it's
him.
so funny. This is his most normal thing.
on,
like,
paper,
on paper.
On
On
paper,
paper.
it's his most normal thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And even then, it's a fucking weird idea. You're gonna wait. You're doing what?
Oh,
All right,
what
we
a
gotta move
maniac.
on. Yeah.
Sure. So there's a story about the MPAA had at CinemaCon blamed same day streaming for online piracy, which by the way is coming back. Do you have any thoughts on this?
Not really. There's any number of reasons. I think the surge is same day streaming probably has something to do with it, but it's also, people don't want to go out, so they're gonna and most, indirectly, same day streaming. Maybe people are like, well, I have to go to the theater to see that. No, I'd rather not. Let me see if I can find it online. You know.
Yeah, here's what I do think. I don't think they're wrong, and I do think this has been something that's going on even pre-pandemic, which we've talked about before, is that piracy was a big issue, movie piracy, and then sort of Netflix came along, and people were like, oh, yeah, that's easier.
Even,
a part of it was like, we just want to have access to this thing.
Exactly. I guarantee a lot of these people would, if the movie was available to rent, they'd rent it.
Right.
I think people are more. Most people, I would venture to guess, just judging on people that I've talked to and kind of my attitude towards it, it's not so much they don't want to pay for it; it's just the convenience of it. I want to have, like you said, I want to have the access to it. It's not just. Yeah. I don't think it's just Netflix that cut down on movie piracy. It was stuff like iTunes and Amazon Prime, or stuff that just has rental/purchasing storefronts that just have a huge library of movies that what you're looking for, it's, well, if I can find it right here on Amazon, sure, I'll give you $2. It saves me from having to scour the dark web for a shitty camcorder copy of it.
Right, and we were hitting that point when piracy first started where obviously it was the internet.
Yeah.
Just the existence of it. People were like, hey, this is way easier. And then Blockbuster and rental, they weren't doing anybody any favors, and it was that realization of feels like there's a better system. We have computers now, why aren't we just getting on computers? And then Netflix answered that, and I think what happened then is everybody was like, we're also Netflix, also pay us $10 a month. And that's when there were people who were like, you know what, I can't have all these. And then we get the piracy.
Yeah, I'm not going to pay.
That's all.
I'm not going to pay Paramount $10 a month so I can, for the privilege of watching Infinite.
Right, and that's the other thing, is that there's always been some movies where it's just not worth going to a theater for or renting. And I think there is a culture of people who are like, I want to see that. I don't want to see it enough to support it. And that is kind of a bummer, but it's always going to exist. And so like it's tough because like, yeah, they got to make money. Like it's hard for a service to be like $10 a month. We're going to give you all these like, multi-million-dollar productions. Mm-hmm. But it has just become so split that it's like, I don't know. I see why it would come back now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think all of the above, really.
Yeah, it's a lot of factors. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what to do about this.
Yeah.
There's no call to action here.
No, what do we do about it? I don't know.
I'll tell you what we do, Tom. We see The Matrix 4. Brilliant segue.
Yeah.
Which is now called The Matrix Resurrections.
Sure.
I feel like there was some point where there were like, I guess we're committed to using R words.
That are plural.
Yeah, and I don't think the Wachowskis know when that happened. I think they were like, fuck, I guess that's just what we're doing. This is weird. But apparently there's a trailer that showed at, I think, CinemaCon.
Yes.
That's, I don't know. I have nothing but goodness in my heart for The Matrix 4, even though it makes no sense that it could exist.
Yeah, it does.
I think we're ready.
I mean, there's plenty of plot reasons you could come up with.
But they had a truce, Tom.
I know, Dave, but
Neo is, spoilers, Neo is dead.
He's turbo dead, but
yeah, he's all Jesused up.
His essence could still exist in the Matrix, Dave.
Yeah, they like sucked him off right before he died too.
It's fine.
Yeah. No, I mean that's kind of why I'm like I don't give a shit. The Matrix there's no fucking rules.
No, it's not.
It's
not really a sacred cow. Like, I mean, it was huge in the early 2000s, but like, for me anyway, it's not a sacred cow. I was never a big Matrix fan, and those two sequels were pretty bad. So this can only go up for me.
We talked about this, I think, in the Animatrix.
Yeah,
is that I think I'm the biggest Matrix fan and I'm not that big of a Matrix fan.
Right. You're still a very casual Matrix fan.
Yeah. I am delighted. I have consumed everything around the Matrix. Mm-hmm. The games, the movies, the Animatrix. Mm-hmm. I consumed them at the time they came out. I think the attraction I had, and I'm pretty sure I said this already, is that it was like it felt like the first time since like a Star Wars. Since it was like, this is not only original, but it's an original like fantasy world building.
It was
that can spin off into all this stuff.
Yeah,
and it's like we don't get that very often.
No, we don't.
Lord of the Rings, but that's based off of something else.
And that's
the
also
Matrix,
a real contained story. Like I think as we're discovering, and as Amazon is about to discover, much to their dismay, it's not really a world. I think that you really want to spend time in Lord of the Rings. It's really the story is what we care. That specific story is what people like. It's not Middle Earth. Right. Because Middle Earth is kind of a boring fantasy universe. It's very, very basic. I realize every fantasy universe is spun off from Middle Earth pretty much.
Yeah, but it's a bunch of
basic.
It's a lot of honkies standing on marble.
Yeah.
A
whole lot of honkies. Yeah.
In robes.
Yep.
Just like talking. Like, I don't know what they fucking do for fun.
That's what they do. You saw what Saruman does. He sits in his little room and plays with his Palantir.
Yeah.
That's his whole life, man. And it's not that much different from my life.
Yeah.
I sit in a room.
Yeah, we all kind of have our little, like, fucking
my TV
orbs.
Yeah, my smart TV is a Palantir.
Right.
I can spy on anyone in the world.
Right, and then the evil can see you as well.
Exactly.
And yeah. But yeah, I think the Matrix. It's like, you could really, you could have a Matrix series.
They did go. They made better on their promise than Star Wars ever did, for sure. Like, not in the mainline series, but with like the Animatrix and like. To an extent, some of the games where they're like, this is a broader universe. It's not just about Neo.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. There was the first Matrix game was not about Neo.
Yeah.
It was really cool. And then the second one was super about Neo.
Yeah.
But that was also cool. I think I think there's a lot more room here. I assume that Neo and Trinity and so on. I don't know how they're going to bring Trinity into this, but they will.
Same shit.
She got fucking rebarred to death. She didn't die like in the Matrix.
Oh, that's true. Well, I mean,
Her skeleton
you
is
could
in
argue
Zion,
that she left
just like rotting.
She left artifacts of herself behind in the Matrix. There's a way. To,
Oh yeah,
it's science fiction.
I know. Or maybe the fucking robots healed her.
Or maybe
up.
it should be a
say?
ghost in a vision. Who knows?
Yeah, but yeah, there's a lot here. I get why they're bringing Keanu and everything, but I do hope they spin it off even more.
Yeah,
and
they
become the next. Yeah, and then they'll be bought by Disney, and then we'll get like a Matrix theme park.
I don't hate that. I mean, I hate Disney buying it, but I wouldn't mind a Matrix theme park.
Yeah, why not? Bunch of dickheads in suits.
Yeah, dressed like a fucking asshole.
Yeah, it'd be great.
I can't wait to dress like I vape.
Yeah.
Oh man,
so. You think there's gonna be vaping in this one? There better be.
Yeah, I can't wait to dress like I vape in a fucking Uber pool without rolling the windows down. Yeah.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
Actually, the people in the Matrix dress like they smoke cloves in an Uber pool.
Oh, yeah. There's nothing this movie can do to hurt me.
No.
And that's the beauty of it.
It can only delight me.
It can only add to the world. Yeah.
It's all it can do. It can only delight me.
It's funny how these things, because it's like our buddy Abe. He doesn't want to watch like the third Mummy, and for me, it's just like more Mummy. Like it's not going to hurt anything about. Like that's the thing. The first Matrix, it should have been standalone. It was designed to be.
Yeah.
But adding to it, it was like this doesn't take anything away. It's weird how I still haven't figured out why some movies can do that in my brain and others can't.
I don't know.
I don't know either, man.
Yeah. Who can say? I think maybe we should move on. Let's thank some more people.
Let's thank some more people. Thank you to Tux.
Woo!
Thank you, Tux. Thank you to Ricky Cilantro. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you to Norm from Cheers.
Yeah.
Thank you, Norm. Thank you to Space McNulty. Thank you to Oh Great, It's That Guy. Thank you to Nolan Mayton.
Woo!
Thank you to Vaccinated Man, Andrew McGuire.
Woo!
Thank you. Thank you to AJ.
Woo!
And thank you to Tip Drizzle.
Yeah!
Tip
All
Drizzle.
right, let me take over. Thank you to Burrito Mouth.
Yeah.
Thank you to Mrs. Voitis. Thank
Yeah.
you to the ghost of Dave Thomas. Thank you to Aaron Burser. Thank you to David Knife Boot, Henson
Knife
MBA
Boot.
CPA. Thank you to Christopher Robert Sparts, Esquire.
Thank you.
Thank you to Mackenzie Fuck Shuffling with Willem Dafoe's confusingly large dick. Chill.
Woo.
Thank you to Vaccinated Jay. And
Yeah.
thank you to Pie Guy.
Pie Guy.
Now, Dave, open up your ears. Open up your ears. I need you to hear what I'm saying and then respond to it.
Yeah.
Do you have a movie that deserves more hype? Wait. Do you have two movies that deserve more hype?
I was going to say no, Tom. I don't because I thought you were going to stop at one. But to answer your second question, yes, I have two movies.
Shit.
Two movies that deserve more hype.
Yes.
I couldn't choose between them, and then I realized they both have the similar themes. So I was like, fuck it. Let's slap them both.
Slap them both wetly down.
Yeah, these are both exorcism movies. But they don't at least appear to be your typical exorcism movie. They both seem to have things that subvert
your granddaddy's exorcism movie.
Yeah. This first one is already out. It's on Netflix now. It came out on Wednesday. It only had a handful of reviews, but it did have 100%. That doesn't mean it's a 100% perfect movie. This is called The Old Ways. This is about a reporter, a Mexican-American reporter who returns to her her ancestral hometown. I don't remember where, but
Veracruz, it says.
Where does it? Oh, it does say Veracruz.
It sure does.
And she gets kidnapped by faith healers and they are insistent that she is possessed by a demon, and they begin an exorcism on her, and it seems, at least from the trailer and from the descriptions, pretty ambiguous about whether or not she's got a demon in her.
She's actually haunted.
Yeah, which, like, more movies should,
That's a cool
point out.
way to do an exorcism movie, is to do it from the point of view of the possessed person.
Yeah, where it's like, it's called The Old Ways, which implies to me that it's like, this is like a very antiquated ritual they're doing. It sounds like it's a bit hard to watch because I think she gets tortured a bit by these people who believe there's a demon in her. But it looks really intense, and it's getting great reviews. And yeah, I don't know. That's all I have to say about that. It's a good premise.
It looks good, yeah. The trailer looks good.
Yeah, the trailer looks really good. So check that out, The Old Ways. Just go ahead and type that up, or go on Netflix and just fucking watch it.
Yeah.
Something I have yet to do. I could have done it. Before we recorded, but, the second one is Agnes. This one, I'm not sure when this is coming out. This is still in festivals. It's got about a 78% Rotten Tomatoes. The trailer for this looks really fucking weird. And it's a group of nuns, and one of them appears to be possessed. And they call in two priests, one of which has been, like, disgraced for being a pervert.
Yeah.
And the other one isn't technically a priest. He's like a young. So it's like a even grittier fucking exorcist, Father Damien. And from what I can tell, it's not really an exorcism movie. It sort of devolves. The premise sort of devolves, or not devolves, but like changes into something entirely different. Something a little more thoughtful, apparently.
Yeah, it really looks more
talking
about like the institution, rather than the actual possession.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's around an exorcism, but the reviews have very much clearly said, like, look, if you want to watch like a demon possession movie, don't watch this.
This is not that.
Yeah, it's not going to do it for you. This is about something else entirely. So I don't know. People seem buzzed about it. It looks really unique. It's called Agnes.
Yeah, the young priest is the male lead from The Vast of Night.
Yeah, I'm loving seeing these Vast of Night fuckers.
Yeah. What was the girl is in We Need to Do Something? Is that?
Yeah.
Movie deserved more hype from like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I hope their careers blow up. That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it just looks really interesting. Both of these look really interesting takes on exorcisms, which, like I'm glad. What it is that, like, when a movie's like it's an exorcism but a twist, they don't really mean like like they're gonna be like, but it's
right. It's gonna have some goofball Shyamalan-esque twist at the end.
Or like it's like a dog that's possessed, where they don't understand what needs, because there's a lot to say about the exorcism genre, because real life exorcisms are fucked up.
Yeah.
And so like
it's a bananas thing that we still do.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Because there's no demons. So we're just doing this to people.
Probably not, yeah.
With mental health problems.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is just a mental health thing that we're torturing people with.
Yeah. So it's I don't know. Both of these movies seem like somewhat aware of that fact.
Yeah.
At least from the trailer and description. So yeah,
right.
check them out.
They seem to understand that what parts of the exorcism movie need to be subverted.
Yeah, and what parts are always going to be kind of scary.
Yeah.
So it looks interesting. Check that shit out.
Yeah.
Folks.
That's
more
a
hype.
sode, you fuckers.
Yeah. We soded you. We soded you.
You got soded so hard. Oh man, this is normally where we'd ask the guest to plug stuff, but there is no guest.
Yeah, God,
it's just us.
Thank God we don't have to do that.
Yeah,
that was exhausting.
Yeah,
normally.
fuck that.
It takes a lot. Yeah.
So why don't you go ahead and tell them what we got going on, Dave?
Tom, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed.
Woo!
If you go on there for $5 a month, you get exclusive podcasts like Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Fox Mulder is a Maniac, Star Trek The Next Futurama. If you want to pitch in an extra $5 on top of that, we watch movies with our patrons every Friday night. We just wrapped up the Twilight series.
We sure as shit did.
Yeah, I don't know where we'll go from there. We kind of peaked.
Yeah, I don't know. It's all downhill from here, baby.
Yeah. I suggested.
After the 5th Twilight film.
My suggestion, we just crank it back to the first one.
Yeah, we just start it over again. Just Twilight forever.
Or start with the 5th one and work backwards.
Yes, like a TBS marathon of the Jaws sequels that you catch out of order.
Yeah.
So it goes like Jaws 3, Jaws 2, Jaws the Revenge, and then like Rush Hour.
Yeah, which is how the Jaws...
Yeah, that's the natural progression of the Jaws series.
DC.
We also have a store. Head over to gamefullyunemployed.com where you can find the complicated link to our new Teespring store, where you can get T-shirts and all sorts of other kinds of delightful merchandise we have. I really fucked that up.
It's all good, man. We're on vacation.
Teespring.
Yeah, no. Their shirts are great. I have one of them. I can't wait to get more. They're sturdy ass shirts. They have more like fabric options and shit. I really like their shirts.
Yeah, it's in general it appears to be a better service than we were using previously. So check that out.
Yeah, they're good shirts.
Give them your support.
Give them,
and by extension,
your support.
Us.
By pure coincidence.
Like pure coincidence. We have no dog in this fight, except that we get a percentage of all the sales.
Except for the dog that we have.
Except for these dogs that we have in this fight. All right. Let's get out of here.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Our music is produced by Chris Corlew. You can follow him on Twitter at @thecorlew, Corlew, and find more music at shipwreckedsailor.bandcamp.com. Our artwork is produced by Justin Brown. You can follow him on Twitter at @JustinTBrown, and find more of his artwork at artnessbyjustinbrown.com and justinbrown.info.